Hi, I was so excited to sit down with the force that is the singer Kesha. When I read that Kesha was on a mission to reclaim her joy and freedom with her new single, Joyride, and her first album produced under her very own label, Kesha Records, I knew she'd be a perfect guest for us. While I was a little intimidated at first, talking to Kesha ended up being like being with an old friend, one who's extremely cool, deep, smart, vulnerable, funny, and empowered. Anyway, I hope you find something in our chat to connect to, and thanks so much for joining us on Reclaiming. Kesha, welcome to Reclaiming. I'm so excited to have you here. I don't want to jinx us, but I just feel like I've just felt all week that this is just going to kind of be a real soul connect kind of conversation. So much so that I'm following my intuition on this thing, and it might be weird. We'll see.
Go. I love following an intuition.
Okay. Well, so I always give my guests a crystal at the end of the show just as a thank you for the exchange of energy, because it's no joke to show up to a podcast. Like, people think, oh, you just show up and have a conversation, but it's a lot of energy. And but I usually do it off camera because it feels a little performative otherwise.
Yeah.
But I was just kept being told in my head to give you yours now.
Oh, I love this.
So here's this.
Oh,
I'm sure you
you're
have
so
rose
sweet.
quartz already.
Oh, I love
but
rose
also
quartz. It's so
given your middle name, which you'll see, newsflash is Rose.
Yeah.
So,
Wait, you're so sweet. So rose quartz, I love rose quartz because it's for unconditional love.
Yes.
Or like for everyone listening.
yeah.
It purifies and opens the heart. It's really weird, actually, that you just gave me this, and I'll get into that.
Okay, good.
Self-forgiveness, acceptance, self-trust, and self-worth. Mm-hmm. Girl, are you a hippie witch too?
Oh, I am woo-woo to the core.
Me too. Have you ever been to Esalen?
I have not. I have not.
We should go.
Okay.
Wait, this is
Field trip.
beautiful. I'm going to keep this with me because it's weird. Not weird. Nothing in life is weird, right?
Right.
It's
but
all
good. I had that feeling. And in fact, then the other part of it is I brought my own crystal for today, and it's this piece. It's Caribbean calcite. And there's this crazy story that basically the universe gave me this crystal. It was a few years ago, sometimes after a big project for me, I worked with the same sort of nonverbal sound, energy, consciousness, quantum field healer for a long time.
Oh, wow.
And I'll do a 21-day protocol with him when I need to sort of put myself back together. And this was one of those times. And usually on the first day of those, something magical happens. And so I'd gone to the beach. It's my happy place, nature, ions, right? Clears the field, the sound and movement of the ocean, calms my vagus nerve, the whole thing. It was a Sunday. I went down to the shoreline, dipped my toes in, and I see this like sparkling green thing. And I thought, oh, it's probably a piece of glass or trash or something, but I went to explore. And it was a gorgeous day out. So there were tons of people at the beach. And I go, and here is this crystal sitting on the sand. Yeah, sitting on the sand.
Wow.
And I thought, oh, any minute someone's going to come up to me and say, oh, that's ours. We were photographing it from a distance or whatever. And so I just wanted to, I don't know. So I brought it today.
I love that. I love that
here.
story. And I feel like we have a lot to connect about. I feel as if people that have gone through a lot,
Mm-hmm.
we can go in a lot of different directions,
Mm-hmm.
but some of us become very spiritual, almost as it's not a choice. It's a need.
Yeah, to survive.
And the last record I put out, I have a new one coming out, but the last one I just put out was like
Gag order.
Gag order. Yeah, I did with Rick Rubin. He's so spiritual. The whole experience was so surreal.
Oh my gosh. I am obsessed with Rick Rubin.
Me too.
I mean, I want to hear all the stories. In fact, I actually have a really, well, go ahead. Sorry. So your spiritual album that you did with Rick Rubin.
Well, there's a song on there called Something to Believe In. And it's like, you never know that you need something to believe in when you know it all. But so kind of when I lost touch with feeling like I knew why things were happening the way they were happening, it felt very lonely.
Yeah.
And in those moments where it felt like people couldn't understand how this feels, it's been going on for so long. I'm so privileged, so I can't really even talk about what this is like to anyone. I just felt so alone. And in that moment, I had this spiritual awakening, kind of like very intense night where I just felt like the universe or God or divine, whatever you call it, but like whatever is greater than me, kind of came and tapped me on the shoulder and was like, you're not alone. I know you feel really alone. And it felt like I needed that moment.
Yeah.
Because I was starting to lose faith in what I was doing here and why I was doing it.
Well, I guess sort of going a different place, because the sort of woo-woo of it, that you were sort of born into woo-woo, though, right?
Yeah.
Because your mom wanted you to be a Pisces.
Yeah, so my mom is a Pisces. And she wanted to be a pop star. And she made amazing music, but it just never came out. So, you know, she had my brother, and she had a hard relationship with his dad. And so I think she was just like fed up with men. So she was like, I want another baby, but I don't want to do it with a man. Like, I don't want to be dependent on a man, which obviously was born from her being hurt. So I have so much empathy for it. But so she basically asked her friends, like, will you do me a favor? I'm ovulating this month and I want a Pisces and I want a baby and you don't need to be involved. Like, I'll take care of it. But will you basically, you know, help me out?
Donate.
The old-fashioned way. So then that's where I came from. But so my brother's a Pisces. My mom's a Pisces. I'm a Pisces. Rick Rubin's a Pisces also. Yeah. What are you?
I'm Leo. I'm Leo, but I'm Taurus moon, Libra rising.
Oh, so you're like very strong.
Yeah. Yep.
See, I'm like very emotional.
I have double Venus, like the Venus in, wait, is it in Taurus? Yeah, the Venus in Taurus and Leo, and then not my planets in there, but blah, blah, blah. But, you know, Libra rising justice is really important to me.
Me too.
Do you know your rising and moon?
I'm triple Pisces, but I recently learned I might have rising in Scorpio. I'm like right on the cusp there.
Oh, that's interesting.
I'm all water.
Okay. That's really interesting.
But the Scorpio could like account for like the cuntiness, honestly.
Well, it's so funny. So my birthday's July 23rd, and in 1973, back in the dinosaur ages, when I was born, where the line was drawn that year, I was right on the cusp of Leo and Cancer. And I am very much Leoing. You know, I have my Leo hair and the kind of anger. Certainly can be like a Leo. But then there's the sense of home and then wanting to nurture that is very, it's very
feel
Cancer.
The Cancer energy from you, like already off the bat.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, and I'm emotional and all the things. But you were actually born in a party? Yeah. Is that true? In LA?
Yeah. So my mom, I have to get to the bottom of like why she didn't want to just go to the hospital, but she had me at home. And she had purple hair and a safety pin in her nose. And, you know, it's a long time ago, but she was like drinking a bottle of Jack Daniels as I was born, which is just how she was coping with that. So
the pain.
Yeah. So I came out, and then she had an issue with her placenta, so they had to rush her to the hospital. She's fine. Everything's fine. But they took her placenta away from her, and she threw a conniption because she's such a hippie that she was like, I want my daughter to have her placenta. And they threw it away, but she threw a fit. So the nurse got it, and she's like, I hid it next to the dumpster. So then she goes out post-giving birth. I'm at home with her friend, and she goes and finds my placenta next to the trash, brings it home. Fast forward, I now have a necklace with my placenta in it because it's supposed to help open your like second sight, your intuition.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I didn't know that. That's really interesting. I know in the UK, they save the placenta a lot more, I think, for I mean, I don't know that it would have been stem cell research at the time, but there's a reason all my friends in the UK, a lot of them have the placenta put away. And I think it's, and also then there was this, I have a friend who went to this French doctor who would inject other people's placenta into you and that he did that for energy and kept him young looking.
Oh, wow.
And so I haven't done that yet.
No, I've
or
heard
like
of this,
salmon
though.
DNA in your face. Haven't done that
Oh,
one
I
yet
put the
either.
salmon DNA in my face.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah, girl.
Did you like it? Well, your skin is gorgeous.
Thank you. I can thank the salmon sperm.
Okay.
It's like a Korean trick.
Exactly. You talked about the astrology and you've described yourself as a seeker. So I mean, do you feel like you've been that way since you were a little
Forever.
kid? Okay.
Forever. I remember being in middle school and I would go to different churches after school. My mom was like, what the hell? And I would go to different churches and I would see people having these spiritual breakthroughs or speaking in tongues and crying and on their knees and like really believing in this thing. And I wanted it so badly. But I think with spirituality, it's so personal. It's between me and whatever I believe or don't believe in. Like that's our, it's a sacred relationship that everyone has. And I wanted it so bad. You know how like when you're single and you're like, I want a relationship so bad. I wanted it so bad. And I would go and I would cry and I'd be like so jealous.
That's so interesting.
I know. And then I went to Columbia University before I was 18. I thought I was going to go to New York for school and I was going to study comparative religion. And I wanted to study comparative religion and psychology because I was so fascinated with why do people do what we do? How do people get through the hard stuff? Where do these rules to live by come from? And like what makes people want to keep going? Like what gives them faith? What gives them power? What gives them strength? So I was always obsessed with it. And then I signed a record deal. And I was like, well, I guess I'm going to have to circle back to this. But now I'm in a funny place in my life where they're starting to merge the spiritual seeking and the pop stardom. I'm really seeing how they can live together instead of be so separate. Because it used to be I would be on stage, and then when I was off tour, I would go do the seeking. But now I'm really trying to incorporate it into my tour, like the tour I'm putting together right now. I want it to feel like a spiritual experience.
Yeah. The integration is so important. I think it's, and again, one of those sort of challenging things where you can't put a timeline on integration, So, I mean, I've had enough experiences now, both positive and negative, to the higher part of me trusts that it's like, okay, rejection is protection, or, some version of it'll reveal itself that it just wasn't the right time yet or wasn't the right opportunity or person or, whatever that is. But I think that's so interesting. I went back. Do you think you might go back to school, or did you?
I would love to.
Or did you not? So did you even start at Columbia?
No. I went for a summer program, and then I was going to go to Barnard, which is like the sister school.
Yeah, you got a scholarship there, right? And you're fucking smarty pants with like, when I was, researching you for the, to have this chat of just, right, 1,500 on your essay. I mean, that's impressive.
This is the like funny thing about me is that I feel like people always think I'm like up to no good or I'm fucking around, or like if I'm driving too fast and I get pulled over, like even to myself, I'm like, oh fuck, what am I doing wrong? And like, I'm really actually just like to like work, and I like to live in integrity and like take care of the people around me. And I want to be a walking embodiment of love. Like it's all really positive, but somehow I think it's like, I also grew up on punk rock music. So I got a little bit of the like, fuck the man in me,
Well, yeah, that vibe. I mean, I tried to put together a cool girl outfit for
very
today.
Cool.
Oh, good. Phew. I was like texting photos to my friends this morning. I'm like, does this work? Is this okay?
So
I have to look cool. So, it's
you did it.
Okay.
Good job.
God.
You look amazing.
Thank you, Kesha. No, but it is I think all of those things of I think of myself as a social canvas, and I wonder if in some way that's what you are too. That's part of that reflection of that there's I think women who tend to be full of contradictions in society's eyes can end up being projected upon a lot.
I'm about to start trying to put a song together for tour, but it's all projection. I'm like projection mapping on my body if I can figure out how to do that. But when I first came out with music and people were like, you're ugly, you're fat, you can't sing, you're not good, you're dumb, all of that, I like internalized so much of that.
Yeah.
And now I can kind of understand that although those people may think that about me, generally it's probably a projection because I am seemingly doing a thing that feels like you would want to do it or you couldn't do it, or like, and I feel worthy enough to have that and be in this role. And how dare I? So let me humble you real quick. But it's really just a projection of their own feelings of unworthiness. When I just want to make people feel empowered to be exactly who they are, and they are worthy.
Right.
So it's kind of like you're taking it out on the wrong source. I want you to be full of love and feel so empowered. And that's why I write these songs. I want to make you so full of joy that your energetic field is fucking explosive.
Yeah. Yeah. How did you find your way to that place?
To the place I am now? Girl, I was thinking about this yesterday. Like, I am so a work in progress. I am so healing in front of the entire world. Like,
brave and beautiful.
Well, I haven't like, of course I would love to try to hide some of the messier parts of my life, but like it's a little too late for that. So now that literally the worst nightmare of what people could know about me is all out for the public to see, like the most horrendous parts of my life.
Yeah, I can totally relate.
Right. So now that it's all out there, I'm like, okay. I used to be living in this place of so crippled with the anxiety of the judgments of every person that looked at me. I don't know if you have ever had this experience, but where someone looks at you and they either smile or make a face like, oh my God, you poor girl, or they make a face of like dislike. And I'm like, I don't even know what era or thing that you're making that face about, or maybe you're just like have to take a shit. I don't know, but that became so intense to try to evaluate what people's judgments of me were. And I recently have just decided, like, if I really want to be truly free, because I got out of I regained the legal rights to my voice about a year ago. And so I got this like contractual freedom. But if I really want to live truly free, like really embody freedom, I'm going to have to let go of a lot of other stuff too. And part of that is worrying about what people's judgments of me are, being embarrassed about what people know about my past, being ashamed of watching people grow up with me and me making good decisions, embarrassing decisions, bad fashion choices, being funny, not being funny, falling, like all of it. Like I just have to love every part of the way, because I do know that I was trying to do my best and live with integrity the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It's something, it's kind of a skill really that I wish we were taught when we were growing up about understanding, learning how to integrate the different versions of ourselves and accept them with love, because I think these other versions can start to wreak such havoc in your life when you don't recognize that they're there. Just like this morning, I had a kind of fucked up dream, and it was still bugging me this morning when I was drinking my coffee, and I started doing my own self-directed kind of art therapy a few years ago. And so I started to draw, doing the thing. And I realized that I had used all primary colors in this, and so it was that sense of, okay, this dream seemingly has absolutely nothing to do with when I was really little, but there's probably a connection there, So I didn't go there yet because I was like, okay, I'm going to pivot.
Wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah, it's been really, I have a friendipist. I call her my friendipist, who's like both a trained therapist and my friend. And we have a weird working relationship thing together, but she had encouraged me to start drawing things out. And so it's, I I bought these stupid expensive markers, and somehow that makes a big difference for me.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but the
Bougie.
colors are
Let's go.
Yeah, the colors are gorgeous, and thick paper, and it's been really interesting. Just yet again, like energy, another form of expression that for me has been really meaningful. And I think that's what's really interesting is that you go back to religion, right? And so my background's in psychology. I didn't study too much in religion, but one of my professors his work was a lot on doubt and religion, and sort of this idea of we have doubt for so many things, but in religion, people believe so many things they can't see or touch, right? Or Wi-Fi. We all just accept Wi-Fi. I don't know how the fuck it works that I send a text.
But
right?
somebody understands. Wait, you're giving me a song title idea. Could somebody write this down?
We're recording.
Yeah, can you? Blind Faith. It's a good song title. Okay, go on. I'm so sorry.
No, I love it. I love it. You're the first guest I've had who's come up with a title for a song during the talk. So
I can't help it. You can't block it.
No,
you know what I mean?
God, no. God, no. No, that's great.
That means we're having an amazing conversation.
Good. Yeah. No, it is. It's I think all of those things that you walk into a room, you have a feeling, you meet someone, there's a feeling there. And so I think there's so many, they're the biological things of scent and this and that, but there is that other language of energy. And I think and it sounds like you definitely are familiar with it, that it just makes life so much richer to me,
Yeah, I feel like it's true. Like, that's where the true freedom is. It's not in, like, when I meet somebody, I don't care what kind of car they drive. I don't care what they do for a living. I don't care. Like, you name it, I don't care. You know what I do care is if my body feels safe. Is my body in fight or flight around you? Or is my body feeling safe? That's really all I care about.
Yeah.
So I
hope you feel safe right now.
I feel so safe.
Okay,
oh my God,
good.
I'm writing songs. That's actually part of my TED Talk in my class is that the first step to making good art is to feel safe. And that was something I didn't experience for a really long time.
Yeah. I have a period, I think it was really sort of around post-impeachment in 1999 when sort of everything ended in a, I think on the media landscape, there was still a lot happening behind the scenes, but kind of in the few years after that and where I was trying to move forward and then I leaned into being a public person and eventually moved away from all that, went to graduate school and was hoping to have this more normal life. And it was sort of in this time frame that the universe redirected me like no, there's more work to do. And I went into what I call my dark decade of really sort of just like this deep healing. And
well, I just want to say I'm sorry. I relate, and it sucks when your life the time is going and then you just don't feel good about it for a long period of time. It feels like years of your life are gone. And like coming to terms with that is hard. So I'm really sorry.
Yeah, thank you. And me, you.
Thank you. I mean, we can text later about all our hippie shit and share notes.
I was thinking like in, getting ready to talk to you that the hows and whys of how we, got into illegal whatever were obviously very different, but we were both young women. I think you were still in your 20s, right? I was in my 20s. And we got tangled up in the judicial system and there were powerful men who were involved. And that's a combination. It's a real combination.
I can recognize that both the music business, the ways, especially when I started, and I can only imagine politics, it's like it's run by the men. It's a boys' club, and they make you feel lucky to get in, and like you just gotta be cool with whatever, at least on my end. And And I'm like now taking my experience and trying to pay it forward. I'm starting an app to like connect young artists so they can communicate and like just have some community, but also more knowledge.
Right.
You know, like it sometimes can be very isolating and you don't know who to ask, or you don't know what you're signing, and you don't know who you're signing it with. And so I'm trying to create a place like of community for younger artists because of my experience.
Right.
Like just sitting back and being like, well, that was fucked up.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to do nothing about it doesn't quite feel right.
No. And you've done so much advocacy work in supporting survivors of sexual assault and abuse.
Yes.
What has that meant to you?
Well, I feel as if it's, never intended as a young girl going into the music business. Like I never intended for that to be a part of my legacy.
Mm-hmm.
But the universe and God, and it throws you things that supposedly you're strong enough to handle and get through. And thank God I did. So I feel like what we live through, if there's a way I can use my voice and my celebrity, and which I've always found celebrity to be so silly. Like I literally was a punk rocker. Like I was like, this is so silly. It's so silly. But now it almost feels like, oh, but maybe there's a reason. It's because I can bring awareness and attention and quite possibly change to help people feel safer. Because big things that are important to me: justice, integrity, honesty, safety, protection for those who need protecting. My queer fans know that I'm like mama bear.
Yeah.
Like I feel very strongly. And people that are enduring abuse, like I feel very, very, very strongly about doing my absolute most to help these people, animals. I'm like very into like animal rights and animal protection. I just feel this, you kind of started the conversation with it, but a strong sense of justice. And I'm not saying I know everything or I've done everything perfectly in my life. I'm not saying that. But I do know when I see something that hits me in the gut as something that's like not right. And so in those spaces where I'm seeing it, I'm trying to help how I can with the silly thing, me being a celebrity, which I still find quite silly. But at least now I have like, I feel like I have the purpose finally. Like the like the first couple of years, I was like, this is so funny, God. Like this is so silly. Like I'm putting on 3 tights and a wig and like latex and like it's all just so goofy. But now I kind of feel like it's all coming together.
Right.
I played Coachella last week.
Oh, okay. I'm not a Coachella girl. You could probably tell.
It's a commitment.
Yeah,
traffic and outfits.
Yeah,
and
like
heat stroke.
Someone does all the things for me. Maybe I'd go for a day, but otherwise,
it's a lot. It's totally fair. Massively respect that decision. But I went to go play a song with A.G. Cook, which was awesome, and I was so excited because it was the same night Gaga was playing. And, I know Gaga. I love Gaga. I'm trying to think. I've seen her at different things, but I've never gone to like a Gaga show and been in the pit. And I was in the pit at the Gaga show and I was like, wow, I feel so a part of. And it's a beautiful thing. But I'm usually the one on the stage.
Right. Yeah.
I've been doing this for a long time and I grind and I tour and I'm usually the one that's up there doing the thing. And I try to go see shows when I can. But I've just been like working my ass off a lot recently. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So I'll see stuff online. It does not hit the same.
No.
To be in the pit with other fans of Gaga, and it had nothing to do with me. I just got to be a part of a community where we all had the same interest in like loving this woman that is so loving. Like that was amazing. It made me realize like I need to go to like a show a week.
Yeah.
I need to go to more shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, you know, in that moment, I need to have idols too. You know, like I want to be a super fan of somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I love that. I really love that. I was thinking about with our chat that there's this, I don't know if you felt it this way, but there's such a strange thing about the legal system. There's something so ancient about it and patriarchal.
Yeah.
If I said that right, patriarchal.
Patriarchal?
I don't
To
know.
be honest, I'm
Y'all
not
know
sure.
what I mean. And
Run by men.
yeah, but that there's, and even the legal system, right? So for such a long time, it was only white men who were allowed to sit on a jury, right? Then it was only men for a long time who could sit on a jury. In fact, there's like a little city or town in Florida where women still couldn't sit on the jury as late as the 1970s.
Oh, wow.
But you think about that precedent all gets set by what happens in these courtrooms and these decisions. And so everything that runs in there, it was not something I understood or could sense at the time. But in hindsight and through all the healing work, I realized that it was attacking my feminine energy. You know? And so.
Yes, I do know.
Yeah. And that was just I think that was just such a strange kind of experience. And I think I don't know if you felt you had to reclaim your, like how do you find your way back to that feminine energy? And did you feel that way?
100%.
Yeah.
I've been working a lot with what is the divine feminine, divine masculine. We both or we hold both. And like, what does that mean? Especially growing up without a father. It's been like the masculine's been a shit show in terms of my previous partners. Like it's just been like, I'm just shooting in the dark, because there was no father to kind of like guide what the divine masculine is. And then the divine feminine just got the shit beat out of it. And so it's almost like I felt like I have to be so strong and so tough, and I need to not be so fragile and weak, and I just need to take it. And then but really those beautiful, soft, delicate, fragile sides, it's like what makes a butterfly beautiful. It's what the feminine is supposed to dance in this magical creativity and freedom. And to just shut that down for so long. It was kind of like a hard place to live in because I'm actually quite feminine, but not if I don't feel safe. If I don't feel safe, shit gets weird because I'm like, I don't know how to be. I'm actually quite a feminine, soft, loving person, but I've had to like shut the shit down for so long.
But it sounds like from what you're saying is, that your heart chakra at least is sort of
This is like in real time.
Opening.
This is like the past two, I'm talking about the past 2 weeks. But I feel it. It feels like someone is ripping muscle tissue apart.
Right.
On top of my heart.
Yeah. I always felt, do you know that Wilco song, I'm Trying to Break Your Heart?
I think I do.
Yeah.
You might have to sing it to me.
No, I am not going to sing in front of an amazing singer. Although I did used to sing when I was much younger. I sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Sing.
But not yet. But I think that my interpretation of the song was sort of this, like trying to break your heart open, not just break your heart. And so, well, I'm probably wrong because I almost always get lyrics wrong. I remember the title of the song wrong. I thought Little Red Corvette was Come On and Pay the Rent for a really long time.
Also, great lyrics though. That can be your own version.
Exactly. My next career as a songwriter is, but it's, I guess there's a sense of you had a moment where you were declared free.
That was a weird one.
Okay.
Let me tell you how fucking weird that was.
Yeah.
There is like nothing in my life has ever been so weird. So weird. So surreal. Like it starts to make you, well, I'm not going to speak for anybody else because I can only speak for me, but like to get nearly perfect scores on an SAT,
Yeah.
to be shooting for Ivy League schools, then to deny that and pivot to something. Literally got my GED instead of graduating international baccalaureate. Like, really, I pride myself in how smart I am, even though majority of the world thinks I'm not. It's something I'm actually quite proud of.
As you should be.
Yeah. So getting my GED and committing to the career I now very fortunately have succeeded in. You know, it was like a pivot, but I was very lucky and excited to, you know, I signed this deal when I was 18. So as like a legal adult, I haven't owned my voice.
Right.
And it's the only thing I do. I quit
Right.
high school to do the thing.
Yeah.
The one thing I could do. I don't own the rights.
You couldn't drink, you couldn't rent a car, but you could sign a music contract.
Of my voice. The recordings of my voice did not legally belong to me in the universe in perpetuity. I didn't really understand what that meant for, you know, and then I did, you know, I didn't understand and then I did.
Yeah.
Like to be then delivering music to someone that you're in a litigation with, and they're in control of the promotion, of the budgets, and like of all of it, like of the release, everything, for years,
Right.
for 10 years. But the only way I get out of the deal is if I delivered the music. So it's like you're, like, it got very weird. Like in my mind, it just felt like the biggest head fuck of all time. Like I'm doing the thing I love to do. I'm one of the best in the world at doing it. I have all these amazing fans. They want me to win. I'm doing it, but it's just like, it was just such a head fuck. It felt like it was like, I don't even know how to describe it still. It still perplexes me because it kind of makes no sense how the legal system could just like watch this be happening and be like, oh yeah, that's fine. Like there is, I think my heart got so closed off because I felt like people are just like watching this happen and, you know, my fans cared, but like it didn't feel humane.
Yeah.
Like it felt inhumane. And then in the middle of it all, it's like, well, go on stage and smile and sing TikTok. And I would, because I want my fans
Right.
to have a beautiful place to connect with each other. But like, I was like dying. I was truly dying inside. And it felt like, and I know it's not true, but at the time it felt like nobody cares. And that was hard. And it went a long time.
Yeah.
Which was all by design. And I get that. But there's going to be, it's probably, my heart is probably going to be ripping open for a very long time.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be micro tears to ever get back to where I was.
Yeah. I think one of the hardest things I've had to accept in my healing journey is that there is no done period.
Shit. Are you sure I'm not just going to be fixed? Just kidding.
It's like, yeah, no, but
I want it so bad.
Me too. I mean, the number of times my poor therapist, she's a trauma psychiatrist, and the number of times I'm like, we're here again, you know, and she'll gently and generously, you know, steer me back to remind me and make me look at, okay, how are things different? But I think what happens is I think we heal in stages, you know, and so I think that the thing I've had to accept is there might be I've ended in this stage. It's like grief, right? Like you think you've gotten past a stage and you sort of trick yourself into thinking that's it. Oh, I'm over that. And the reality is there'll be another layer there. But if you're a seeker, you know,
It's
and
true.
so there, you know, look, I have a friend in my life who, you know, I don't know how he processes things, but I don't think he processes very much. You know,
I'm so jealous.
well, I don't know.
Like triple Pisces. Oh my God. I process every thing that has ever happened.
But it's just, I mean, he has like amazing gifts and different things, and I'm sure they're different ways, but it's you just you watch those things, and it is. I think I was like joking in my conversation with the producers before we're doing this interview about this, like, there's no circling a date on a calendar of like, oh, that's the day I healed. Things release, and a lot releases, right? Like, especially with all the, the different modalities that are out there now. I mean, EMDR and somatic therapy and tapping and energy work and all the things, right? And I'm sure I haven't even gone the whole plant medicine route. I don't know if you have or
I've done a little of that, and I will be honest, it's very helpful.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, contrary to my entire public image, I'm actually quite terrified of substances. Like, I had my whiskey moment in the 20s for sure, but like anything else is like pretty scary to me. Like, I was really scared, but it showed me, even if for just a couple of hours, you kind of get brought back home to who you are. And that reminder, like, without the trauma, without the anxiety on top, without the overworking, the perfectionism, blah, 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 without all that shit for like 3 hours, you're like, oh my God, you're still there. Like, I can, and so that's what I'm working towards, is that girl. Like, I'm getting back to her. And
I feel that.
Yeah.
Like, I can really feel that,
But life is traumatizing. Yeah. And I don't think the traumatizing parts of life are about to like slow down. I mean, look around.
I was just going to say, I don't think the next 4 years.
No, I know.
But you've sort of mentioned this a couple times of TikTok comes out, and you have this persona in our scene as like a kind of
wild child,
bubblegum princess, party girl, that persona. And was that a part of you?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. I grew up in Nashville, didn't really find my clique. Like, there was, at the school I went to, there was a lot of kind of racism and homophobia. And I was like, I don't fuck with any of these people. And so I was always kind of like a loner. And I like went to prom with the only guy who was out in the school. And I was like, we got each other. But it was just very like, it didn't feel like those were my people, like accepting, open-hearted. So I came to LA and I met a couple of punk rockers, and I was like, oh my God, these are my people. And so we had a great time, and we would paint our faces, and I would wear the booty shorts, and we would go to the Army Navy store and chop up shit, and we would go to the Goodwill and get, like, the whole thing. And it was the first time I was a part of like a group of people that I felt like I could just be myself, because I always just felt like I was a little weird, just a little different, a little strange. I was just really creative, and I'm also just like very playful, and I just like I don't know. So I found my people, and we would go out and we would like absolutely be wild as hell. But I think that was, it's interesting when you're an artist and you're a songwriter, you can write one song and that like defines you for so long. And that is just, I didn't realize that with my first album. And I love TikTok and I love that first album. Like, these are my babies, you know? But I will say, to be put into a particular box was like challenging. I didn't feel like, oh, people aren't like seeing me, like for real seeing me.
Or seeing all facets of you.
Yeah. But, you know, I'm also very lucky that that hit. And I think I tapped into a part of people's brains that they needed. It's like it was a recession. I was giving them like unadulterated joy and silliness and goofiness and fuck it, and we're having fun, and I don't care what anybody thinks and whatever. And I do stand by that's a really important thing to feel.
Yeah.
And if I'm like the conduit for people to feel like they can just fucking do whatever it is and wear whatever and just be whatever and just be genuine. Like, like that. I love that because we need that. So I'm lucky, but I did it was hard for me. I remember I tore my ACL on stage.
Oh,
yeah, it was brutal. And song 3 or something, I was playing a festival in Dubai and I tore my ACL. And I fucking got up and I played guitar and I sang and I finished the fucking show.
Are you serious?
Yes, because I'm a bad bitch. But I wake up the next day and I'm like, wow, I am such a fucking monster badass. Wow.
Wow.
And I wake up and there's an article on TMZ saying I was drunk at the show.
Oh my gosh.
And I literally abso-fucking-lutely never have one drink before a show. Ever. Well, I did one time, the first time I played Lollapalooza in 2009. And after that, never. Literally, I did that one time and I was like, okay, I'm never doing that again. I'm never drinking before a show. So, things like that have hurt me, and that people think that, I don't know, that hurt my feelings.
Yeah. I'm sorry for what you've had to go through.
Thank you. And, would we both be sitting here had we not gone through those things? Probably not.
No.
And it has made us into the people that we are, and you seem like a fucking badass. I know I'm a fucking badass. So, that's why I have to trust in something spiritual and something bigger than, because it has led me into an era of my life that I'm really excited about, actually. And it is hard. It's really hard. And I cope in a lot of, I cope with humor. I cope with pretending like I'm fine. But in real time, healing in front of the entire world. And it feels so vulnerable. But also, I'm hoping that anybody out there watching me, show up and be honest and looking cunty and having fun, on tour, who's gone through something really hard. I hope that can help inspire, because that's actually the greatest gift, and I think is why I do what I do.
Yeah. That I can tell you 100% for sure, that there will be people who will see themselves, see a part of their own story, no matter how different their own story is in your story, and draw strength from your strength and, putting it out there for sure.
And same to you.
Well, I don't know. So it's such a weird, I hope so. It's
oh my gosh! I bet if you look in the comments of
no, thank you.
Tons of people.
no comments.
No, you shouldn't read it. But
no comments. But it's interesting. I was thinking about. I wrote a piece in 2018 for Vanity Fair about. And I titled it "Emerging from the House of Gaslight." And for me, it was just. I think this had more to do with the Me Too transition that was happening, and looking back at my own experiences through a different lens, and realizing that I had, and not realizing then because I knew it when it was happening, but when the world starts telling you different stories of your own experience, you start to believe it. And that difficult way of really holding on to what you know is true. And I just was wondering if you had that experience, or what that was for you.
Every day, all day for 10 years. Every time I would have a second alone, I couldn't sleep.
Okay.
I would just sit and think about oh my God, make sure that you don't forget this. Make sure you don't forget that. When you're at trial, write down every traumatizing thing. Journals on journals on journals. In the shower, I would just cry. I'd spiral down and go through it. Because all these traumatizing things that happen, the hard part with a traumatic event, it's someone from the outside could be oh, that happened a long time ago. And you're but the way that has rippled into every corner of my life makes me have to trace it all the way back to the traumatic event.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's touching every fucking inch of my mind and everything that I do.
And it's in your body.
And it's in every inch of your body, 100%. It's in the way that you walk. It's in the way you talk. It's in the way you dress. It's in who you surround yourself with. It's in everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so absolutely, I had to trace things always back down to the traumatizing events, which is not a place I wanted to spend time in.
Mm-hmm.
But these traumatizing events, when they're touching every fucking corner of your life, you have to be like, but wait. Oh. And then it takes you back to the trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I lived in reliving the traumas for totally the past 10 years. And I'm like transitioning into living in the present because I'm not preparing for a trial.
Right. Yeah. That a lot of energy freed up.
Yeah.
I one thought that is interesting. You were saying you tore your ACL performing TikTok.
Yeah.
They write the next day that you were drunk, performing drunk, which also, P.S., that would be okay. Like, that would be okay.
But I just wasn't.
But right. And so, but if it's, especially if it's being said in a pejorative way, then it's whatever. But what's so interesting is, I think, is that you're performing TikTok, and then I think it was 2023, right? You took a line out of the song, right? In a form of activism.
Absolutely. So TikTok, the song used to say, "Wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy." And I remember I was on tour. I was doing the Gag Order tour. And I was like, I'm changing it tonight. I don't even remember where I was. It was like Omaha or something. I forget where it was. And I was like, we're changing the line. Everyone's like, you're insane. It's your biggest song. You're going to change the opening line of your biggest song. I'm like, a fucking 100% I am. As I go on tour, I'm trying to see like how exactly to help, like what's the best way to do it. But I would like to try to help some of the survivors, because someone like me, I'm very lucky that I have had resources and I've had money, quite frankly, to get the therapy and do the plant medicine and do all of these things.
And the time. That's it.
Oh, yeah. But like, I've been like really proactive and very, I'm very privileged to have had the resources to help deal with what I've gone through. And I know there are a lot of people that do not have the resources that I had to deal with what I went through. So I'm going to try to see how I can help the survivors with
That's great.
on this tour, because I feel really strongly about like, I just it's trauma. It's not a joke.
Yeah.
It's not a fucking joke.
No.
It's not like just fragile people. It ruins your fucking life.
Yeah.
And it like hurts like my heart to just like know all of this is going on.
Yeah.
And the power is just protecting these people.
Well, I think too that I've been really heartened to see how I feel like healing modalities are becoming more known faster.
Totally.
Like just even, I think about the person who talked to me about the vagus nerve. The first time I heard that was probably maybe during the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
And and now you see it like everywhere, which is great.
Well, I just kind of started learning about that.
Yeah. So it's, the same woman who told me about that was also the same woman who taught me about transgenerational trauma in 2020.
Oh, amazing.
And so, or maybe it was even a little earlier, but it just is, it's interesting because I think I think of it as like we're entering this age of what I think of as modern trauma, that we are confronting trauma in a way that that we haven't before. And I think the language is getting there for people, and the understanding of the the impact
Yeah.
and the kind of, butterfly wing impact that it has. And my hope is, and it sounds like this is your hope too, is that we get to a place in society where we're helping people curb it faster and faster so it doesn't bleed
into everything.
It's like, have you done EMDR?
I have.
Yeah. So I don't understand, why don't we have EMDR as part of the military? Like, why is it not like you come back from a day of having to do horrible things, and just like you go take a shower, you might do an EMDR session. I feel like our vets would come back so much healthier, And so it's just, but I think we're moving towards that. And
it's awareness first, I believe.
Yeah,
like
exactly. But so
aware of
that's
it.
what so when when you are healing out loud in the way that you're talking about, that's what you're helping to do,
So,
Yeah.
'cause it's like, it's messy. I'm not doing everything perfectly,
Oh, no, none of us do. None of us do. It's
but
like,
I am hoping
it's
for
the
that.
doing. That's all that matters is you're doing. It doesn't matter how much, how little, how right, how wrong, the doing.
And you're trying
Yeah.
your best. But
Yeah.
I hope that for anyone who's survived something, doesn't even have to be traumatic, like something difficult, for feeling stressed, if you can't sleep, if you're having anxiety, like, I do feel like we have to help each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which sort of, I want to move into the joy that you have been reclaiming. And I know part of sort of all of that too was, as we said, going full circle back to Rick Rubin.
Oh, hell yeah. The angel himself. Rick was a big turning point for me when I met Rick Rubin.
Mm-hmm.
I have so much love for him. So I had my sordid history and the Darth Vaders of the music business. And I was just really fucking trying my best, but really feeling kind of like I was telling you, a little hung out to dry.
Mm-hmm.
And then he took a meeting with me and I was like, no shit.
Yeah.
I was like, are you sure? And then we we're talking about being Pisces and touched on some spirituality, and I started talking about vintage lamps. I love a vintage lamp. Oh. But then he decided he wanted to do a record together, and I was it was really interesting because working with him showed me how a producer is supposed to behave.
Mm-hmm.
And it showed me how a man is supposed to be. What a man. What a guy.
Wow.
And, I don't know who my dad is. So it was he was kind of the first in that. It was an energetic of whoa.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a man is supposed to behave like. And it was really beautiful, and it just felt so safe. I felt so energetically and emotionally held to fucking completely fall apart. Because previous to that, I had made a record that I love. There's bangers on it. But it was me trying to be what I thought the fans wanted me to be. And also me trying to be but I'm going to manifest me being happier than I actually am. And I just wasn't really letting the authenticity of how devastated I was come through my music, because I didn't want to be that devastated.
Right. Sure. Well, it's a coping mechanism.
Yes.
You sort of have to park how difficult things actually are until you're in a place where it's no longer coming at you.
Oh, yeah.
So that then you can sort of go, okay, now we can look at the landscape.
I didn't want to be a bummer. That's the whole thing. Is I'm fun. Ask anybody. I'm very fun.
I'm boring. So, we'll make a great team, Kesha.
But I am fucking fun. That is true. But and I think that's I trace back. That's why my fans love me, is because I'm fun. It's because I'm fun. And so I made this album. And I was really trying to be as fun as I could be in a time where I was just not allowing myself to be oh, I'm actually quite depressed and this is quite fucked up. And then it was, You want to hear a trippy thing?
Yeah.
This is a trip.
Okay.
Because that album was so surreal.
Is this Gag Order? Or the one
Gag Order.
Okay, Gag Order.
Gag
Okay.
Order. That's
Right.
my favorite album I've ever made. Oh my God. Hands down. Like,
Yeah.
so proud of myself. I met Rick. I literally feel like he was like entered my life in a time where I really needed it. I needed somebody to believe in me, and I needed somebody who could like turn it into art, and he did that. And it was so healing for me on so many levels. But because that like didn't chart well, that then led to the fact that my option didn't get picked up, and the phone call that's like, on December 6th, phone call, ring, ring. In 3 months, you're going to be free. And it was so surreal because I'm like sitting in my backyard. I sit in every day, and I'm like walking out there the same as every day, being owned and tied up and all this fucking bullshit. And then I go outside and I get a phone call 2 minutes later. I'm free. The scene is the same.
Yeah.
But like every fucking thing changed.
Yeah.
Everything. It was a trip.
Yeah.
But so like, it was weird that this quote unquote, which I don't look at it as a failure. I have loved that record from the moment.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to second that. So
Thank you. But like,
yeah, I've got
the judgments of others.
Those other things those metrics are meaningful.
Yeah. It's nice, of course, to have a number one, but I really, it was disappointing. I want the whole world to listen to that album because it's so like spiritual and magical and surreal and weird and crazy and intense. But like, if they don't want to, that's fine too.
Right.
I'm so proud of this piece of art.
Yeah, as you should be. And now you are about to embark on the Tits Out tour. I'm so excited to say that.
Yes.
So tell me, like, clearly a name Tits Out tour has a story behind it.
Yes. Okay. So I'll take you on the ride.
Yeah.
So I get this call. You are free now because of the album that I made that I'm so proud. Rick Rubin. Yes. Okay. Angels are entering the building. They're entering the chat. Things are looking up, like, okay, we're picking up steam. Then I go and I do an artist in residence in Big Sur.
Oh.
And I'm there for a couple of weeks. There's a butterfly migration. I'm meditating. I'm soaking in hot springs. I am romping through the wilderness. I am butt naked in the redwoods. It's amazing. And I'm like, wow. And so my friend, James, is like, do you want to take pictures? And he's amazing. And he's feeding me minerals and vitamins. And I'm like, oh my God, things are so looking up, right? Like, I can finally have an orgasm again. That's another story, but I couldn't have an orgasm for forever because I was so stressed out. So, okay, things are working. Then he's like, do you want to play with an accordion? And I'm like, I 100% fucking do. And so I play with this accordion and we take these hot naked pictures with an accordion. And I come back to LA after my trip and I go in with my producer and I'm like, do you know what I need right now? And he's like, what do you need? And I'm like, I need an accordion. And that turned into Joyride, which was the first song I put out.
Yeah.
And has now like kind of set the tone for the tour I want to go on, which is just in the midst of chaos and bullshit and trauma. The most powerful and political thing we can do is to try to love ourselves and love one another. And I also look at the Tits Out tour. This is my body. It's been shamed by the public for I don't know how many years from every angle, every inch. It's my fucking body and I'm going to have my tits out. Like, fuck you. I love my tits and I love my body. Bitch, if you're listening. Like, I've gotten to that point. Like, that's the freedom. I fucking love my body. You tried to make me hate it. I love it. You tried to take my joy. You tried to take my life, my time. No.
Your orgasms?
My fucking orgasms is the part I have a real problem with, but they're back in full swing, so we're good. But so this is a celebration of fucking being alive, even if it's hard as shit. And it can be miserable, absolutely, at times. But this is my life. This is my fucking body, and I'm fucking free.
Yeah.
So we're gonna fucking party.
Yeah.
That's what Tits Out's about.
Bring the joy. It's a joy festival.
Yes, and I want it to be so loving. I want people to come in with such an open heart, good vibes, wear what you want, be who you are. I love you. We love you. Community, safety, fun, dancing, healing, all the good shit.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
Because I think like really, if you think of it like the darkness, how do you fix the darkness? Little pockets of light. Little pockets of light. And maybe if the light grows, it can turn into a big pocket of light. And like that is the visualization I'm thinking about this tour. I want to go from city to city and just spark a little bit of love.
I love it. I normally end the chats with a question about what people are working on reclaiming now. But I think this entire conversation feels like it has been, you are so in a reclaiming place. All of these things. I mean, if there is something specific that you think you want, I just feel like
I do. I am reclaiming freedom. And like freedom in every way. I'm not just talking about my voice. It's a big one. But I'm talking about to anything and everything that takes me away from myself. Freedom from the past, from the trauma, from the Twitter voices telling me I'm ugly, like from all the shit I've been carrying my entire life, the shit that just sticks with you, it sticks on you. From all the people that are climbing, all the things. I'm cleaning fucking house and I want to experience real and true freedom. And I think I want to say thank you to you for having me, because
oh my gosh, thank you for coming and trusting me. And
well, you provided a really safe space, and I feel really safe and comfortable. So I want to say thank you. And I feel like when someone is a safe person, interviewer, they like should know that it's appreciated that they're safe.
Thank you.
Because as a survivor of things, I'm sure you know, but like the freedom to talk about what I can talk about. I appreciate you allowing me to feel safe while doing that.
Right.
It's really huge. It's healing.
Yeah.
And so every single day is healing a little something. So my intention is reclaiming freedom.
Oh, Kesha, this has been so beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you to you too.
Thank you. Thank you for coming and bringing your full self.